a police officer punches a protester at a Black Lives Matter protest. Here's the video.
Get out of my kid's face! Get out of my kid's face! Get out of my kid's face! Just like if you don't want to be touching me. No, you're not. I didn't do
Let's put up this cop's picture. Coward. Pure coward. Let's keep his picture up, okay? Seth Taylor was the officer who threw the punch you saw at the protester. Taylor was hired by the Wilkinsburg Police Department in 2019. The Pittsburgh Institute for Nonprofit Journalism reports that while ticketing abandoned cars in Wilkinsburg in 2017, Duncan shot a man he had found sleeping in his car after their interaction escalated, okay? The protester who was struck was identified as Vuestro Merced and has been released from police custody according to a Twitter post, all right? Now I wanna say this. Did it seem as if those Black women were committing some offense that warranted that kind of tactic? I mean, when are we going to say, as human beings, we won't tolerate this kind of treatment? The police are for emergencies. What emergency did you see? What emergency did you see? How did that action by that cop enhance public safety? Who did that cop protect? Or was the cop the aggressor? Was the cop the one who was committing a crime? Do we need protection from the police in our public safety conversation? Let's put up the tweet, Miracle Esquire MSW. They are out and safe with the community. You can support them via Cash App. The Cash App is listed there, okay? The protest was held to demand justice for Jim Rogers, the Pittsburgh man tased several times by city officers until he died. The city of Pittsburgh announced on March 23rd that it planned to terminate 5 of the 8 officers involved in Mr. Rogers' death, but said that 3 of the officers would remain at their job. Prior to the assault, Rogers' niece was attempting to speak at the protest. This is her trying to speak. It's a protest. It's a peaceful protest, okay? Walking side by side with protesters, the family of Jim Rogers expressed their concern about police brutality and asked for police accountability. The crowd, while small, marched several miles with a police escort until they reached Wilkinsburg. At that point, a protester shared with 11 News that they were met by several police departments, including Wilkinsburg, Swassville, Edgewood, and Church Hill. They already coordinated. Wilkinsburg police told the crowd to keep it moving or be arrested. And minutes later, that's when the assault took place. So you see what happened here, right? They're protesting, they're marching, they're doing what they can do to bring attention to a death in their community. And multiple police departments have already coordinated, have already planned to be violent against them. You do realize this was a small group compared to protests that you typically see around police brutality and misconduct, especially when somebody's life has been exterminated by them. This was their response. Wilkinsburg mayor offered this statement. Let me read it in full. This is part of the statement. The footage being shared shows what we do not want to see or experience when a community is expressing It's hurt over police sanctioned violence. I've been in touch with the police chief, and our officers' body cameras were on, which will be used to investigate next steps. Okay, all right. Some heads need to roll here. Uncalled for. This group obviously posed no actual threat to anybody. We talk reform. Once again, we got to talk replacement. New cops are needed, all right? Better cops are needed. David, thoughts on this?
Well, looking at the video, it's not just, and looking at the full video, it's not just the officer who threw the punch. There was a commanding officer who first arrived on the scene, and his way of trying to get people away from that intersection was to say, oh, there's a demolition of a building that is underway.
Yep.
And everybody could turn and see that the people who were engaged in the demolition were eating their lunch. They were on their lunch break. And so they were immediately enraged, and it seemed to the demonstrators, no, this is just the police messing with us. And then the officer gets out and gets in their faces and says, you better leave right now, and orders things. And he escalates instead of de-escalating, and then the officer comes around when there's a scuffle, there's a punch. So again, it's clear that there are several officers here who need to be disciplined. Perhaps one needs to be fired for throwing the punch. And at a certain point, the officers have to realize it's not a good look when you have a peaceful demonstration against police brutality to engage in police brutality.
Yep. Yeah, you're nicer than me, David. They need to go to jail. Listen, here's my thing. And this is why I say that people sometimes, they think I'm too hard on cops. Here's why I'm hard on cops. If you are a medical doctor and you do something so grossly negligent, I need your penalty to be harsh, because you have a responsibility and accountability. You have a higher standard of care than the average person. Why? Because you have more public trust placed inside of you than the average person. And to all of the Christians that watch my show, I'm a Christian man myself. That's my faith background. And I say all the time, I have to qualify this because Christians make us look really stupid. I have to qualify it. God gave me a brain before he gave me a book. All right, I'm that kind of Christian, okay? But the Bible does say, to whom much is given, much is required. All right, and sometimes that's your ass, all right? Your freedom and everything else. If you have been given a whole lot, you mess it up, a lot is gonna be required of you. And if you have a whole lot and you know what's right to do it. Because to whom much is given, much is required. That's a double-edged sword, it goes both ways.